Welcome to The Honest Media. Today is Thursday, December 7th, 2017. Today is, of course, a very important date, a day that will live on in infamy. But you are, of course, watching The Honest Media. I am Tom Pappert, your host, here with Craig Chrysler. We've got a lot going on in the news today. Of course, these sexual harassment, sexual groping allegations just keep coming out of the woodworks. The most recent person who has been lost to us in Congress, you may have heard, is Al Franken, and I don't think anybody is as happy as I am about that. We've also got various other things happening. The House almost unanimously rejected an impeachment resolution for President Trump. President Trump, of course, has managed to troll 1.5 billion people at once with his decision to name Jerusalem the capital of Israel. And just a ton of other things going on. Craig, I just can't believe it. Every day this week has been topping the one before. I don't know what's going to come next.
It's just getting better and better and better.
Better and better. And as we are doing this live on Facebook, we are maybe 20 minutes after Al Franken's resignation speech.
Such a disappointment. This guy was just so talented.
He was
acting and groping and everything else.
He was just a beacon of hope and prosperity for impoverished people around the country who could look at him and see that maybe one day they too could grope young, innocent comedians like Al Franken.
Yes, I mean, what am I going to do now?
But, you know, there is something about Al Franken that I find this, you know, it's not good to laugh at this stuff, but like many of the subjects we talk about on this program, you got to have humor. Something about Al Franken that I found comical was in his speech before Congress where he was saying, you know, blah, 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 blah. He actually said, well, you know, not all of them are true.
Yeah, well, just got to clear the air out there.
How does that make it any
just
better?
Just 5 or 10 or 20 of them.
Right?
Yeah.
So there's what, like 28 or something insane? I mean, were 5 of them true, Al? What, was it 10? Was it 27?
See, it used to be perfectly acceptable to grope women on the floor, but it's 2017 now, so we got to clean up the.
That's right.
Clean the swamp up.
2017. No groping women.
I guess not.
I think that the Democratic Party is going to have a severely hard time with
that. Well, he's a Democrat and an actor, so.
There we go.
It was bound to happen.
Which, you know, that is just something that this has been going on. I mean, the first one came out, and it was like, all right, that's awkward. That's weird.
Kevin Spacey's closet.
Right. But then it just kept coming and coming and coming. And it's just getting insane. I've heard some rumors that the shoe to drop, so to speak, is at NBC. So I don't know if it's going to be Al Stroker or anybody else. We're just going to have to wait and see.
Al Stroker.
Whatever it is, we're going to come up with a name. And if it's Al, you heard it here first, folks. The Honest Media. So I guess we can go ahead and get into some of the real. We had to do that because, I mean, it's not every day you start a show 15 minutes after this type of insanity ensues. But I really love it. But I think that this is going to show the world exactly how insane these Democrats are, which they are, of course, trying to do on their own. Just yesterday, the House rejected a Trump impeachment resolution after the insane Democrat from, of all places, Texas, forced a vote on it.
Yeah.
I couldn't, and you know, I almost didn't want to vote on or even report on this, but this is something baffling.
Oh, your old buddy Al Green.
58 people in the House of Representatives were behind this.
Yes.
They supported it. That's baffling to me. I mean, I know that these Democrats, they want it to happen, but, you know, wish fulfillment doesn't happen just because you want it to happen.
It's just a publicity stunt to get it in people's heads that it's possible.
Of course.
Yeah.
And of course, this is the strange thing that we've talked about, again, on the show before. Who is the voice of reason in the Democratic Party for the first time in her 8,000-year lifespan?
Your girl, Nancy Pelosi. Yeah.
How on earth, what timeline did we cross into where this Paleosaurus is the voice of reason for Democrats?
I'm pretty sure the CERN machine keeps warping us into different dimensions here.
Before you know it, I'm going to find a book that actually says Bernstein Bears, and I'm going to read it, and another book that
says... I had one.
There you go. And we're going to find another that says Mandela did die in the 80s, because this is is nuts.
I remember it happening.
Nancy Pelosi from the Daily Caller. Nancy Pelosi is struggling to keep House Democrats in line. House Minority Leader Pelosi is increasingly struggling to keep the Democrats in line and appears to be following her members on crucial issues rather than leading them. On Wednesday, House Democrats introduced a motion to impeach President Trump, despite Pelosi's insistence for months that Democrats hold off on pushing impeachment. 58 Democrats. Again, I'm just totally baffled that they actually got 58 rubes to go along with this.
Yeah, the guy owed a bunch of favors.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and it's like you say, it's virtue signaling.
Yeah.
It's a virtue signaling at one of the highest offices in the land, because all they're doing is saying 58 people really don't like Trump.
Yeah.
Their feelings got hurt by Trump. Mm-hmm. He offends them. But it's very interesting that, again, Pelosi is like, what? I mean, I've got my laptop here. She's in her 70s. I want to say 74. And this is the voice of reason that they've got there. There we go. 77 years old.
Jeez.
77. And but the thing is, maybe this is the reason why she occasionally makes sense like this. She was alive to see Tip O'Neill and Ronald Reagan. Mm-hmm. And she was alive to see when bipartisanship and Congress could actually get things done.
She's almost alive to see the Revolutionary War.
She's getting there.
Yeah.
She's seen a lot in her age.
She has.
And she has spent, she has been in Congress since just forever, almost.
Yeah.
I mean, she's only been in the House of Representatives for a short time, but before that she was in the Senate. I mean, she's she's a fixture in the Beltway. She is a quintessential swamp monster. But she also seems to see the writing on the wall that if she actually wants to keep this job until her end, which who knows, apparently she's going to be one of these George Soros, just keeps living forever and ever and ever.
Apparently.
But if she
like
wants
Dick Cheney with his fake heart.
With his 15th heart, or what is it, the Rothschild, where you see the fake headline every so often, the Rothschild got his 19th heart.
How's that guy even still alive?
Right. But I think that, and tell me what you think about this, because I am almost willing to side with these people temporarily, enemy of my enemy or whatever, if they are actually going to be sane people. If a Democrat is going to do something other than obstruct, I think it's okay to work with them.
Yeah, don't matter who it is, if they're doing the right moves, why not?
Well, and if they're actually going, and you're never going to agree with them on everything. Mm-hmm. You're never going to get a Democrat to realize that taxation is theft, more than likely. Mm-hmm. But if you can get a Democrat to at least say, hey, maybe we should stop wasting the entire country's time, money, and resources trying to impeach this guy just because he says mean things, mm-hmm. I'm fine with that. And I'm fine with giving crazy Nancy Pelosi, who on more than one occasion in the last couple months has forgotten what day, year, and presidential administration we're in.
She puts her thing on the right foot.
Right, right. At least she puts her giant leg brace on the right foot. We've got to take a moment off. You're watching The Honest Media with Tom Pappert and Craig Chrysler. When we come back, we're going to talk about what the reaction has been across the world, and particularly in the Muslim world, to President Trump's decision to name Jerusalem as the capital of Israel. We'll be right back. Welcome back to The Honest Media. I am Tom Pappert here with Craig Chrysler. If you've been awake at all in the last 48 hours, you know that President Trump has offended a whole lot of people. He's got a lot of people crying, more than usual, in fact, because he has made the capital, or really, they've made it. He has identified the capital of Israel as Jerusalem, a controversial decision, the history of which goes all the way back to the founding of Israel, when they were given the region post-World War II, after many Jews migrated there fleeing the Third Reich. They were given a specific area, and Jerusalem was set up by the United Nations, yes, the United Nations, as a city of all faiths that would be controlled by an international body. This, of course, lasted about 5 minutes, as do most of the UN's decisions. And Craig, I was almost skeptical of this decision because it seemed like it was just a way to make a whole lot of people mad, but there seems to be I'm almost happy with it, if for no other reason. Yes, there's strategy, yeah, there's all kinds of things, but I'm about a fan of anything that makes the UN mad.
I'm right there with you.
And if the UN thinks that they have the power to say that, that is a lot. That is a lot to say that this ancient city that has been there since time immemorial, it has been conquered by all these different civilizations. It is a capital of like 5 different religions, and the UN is basically going to say, yeah, that's ours now.
Yeah.
I'd rather have Israel take it.
Yeah, I'm no big fan of Israel, but probably like them better than the UN. So,
right.
Yeah.
Well, and the other thing is, I mean, if it is a popularity contest between Israel, which, I mean, my main thing is I'm like Alex Jones and I'm like Ron Paul. I'm sick of hearing about Israel. I live in the United States of America. I don't live in Israel. I don't live in any neighboring countries surrounding Israel. I am not religiously or ethnically Jewish. I have no need to hear about Israel.
Yeah.
But I think we can all agree that the Israelis are very much more preferable in terms of who I'd like to have over for dinner company than the Palestinians.
Probably. I haven't dined with either one, but
but well, I mean, the Palestinians, these are the people, like, they are Black Lives Matter on steroids.
Yeah.
They are go up and stab a guy in the neck because he's Jewish.
yeah.
They've
They've also had tanks and burning sulfur dropped on them over and over and over again.
Well, after
so,
they fling rockets out of their air. I mean, it's not a good situation,
yeah,
let's be clear.
They shoot a hairspray can over at them and then they get bombed a whole bunch. So.
Well, but I mean, the hairspray can is full of nails. I mean, they do some gruesome things.
Yeah.
And a lot of time, it's one of these situations where it just keeps getting worse and worse, and each party will do something a little bit worse.
They've just been trying to hold this crap storm together forever. Soon, one of these days, it's just going to let loose.
But I feel like, in fact, I know from previous experience, we've now had President George W. Bush promise, actually, I'll go back even further. President Clinton promised to move the embassy to Jerusalem, name Jerusalem the capital of Israel officially. Never did it. Campaign promise that he broke. President Bush, same exact thing, said Jerusalem is the capital of Israel. Didn't do anything. Didn't do anything. I mean, that is Bush. He was launching wars like fun. Just flip a coin. Do I do a look? But he couldn't do that. And then you've got Obama. Obama, of all people, the one who everybody says is a Muslim or whatever, and they question where he was born. He, too, said Jerusalem is the capital of Israel, and when I am president, I will move the embassy there. Trump is the only one to actually have the chutzpah to do it.
I never even realized it was a big deal, but good for them, I guess.
Well, and what's interesting, one of the 3D chess moves that at play here is a lot of people say that Islam is the religion of peace.
Oh, it is. Didn't you know that?
Of course it is. Of course it is. That is why Gazans were burning the U.S. and Israeli flags ahead of the Trump recognition of Jerusalem. This is before it even happened.
They're probably just trying to keep warm.
That's right, in the desert. This is before it even happened. Like, this is when there were rumors about it on CNN.
Yeah.
So this is like, if I were Trump and I saw this would not make me excited to go and maybe reverse my decision. And then, I mean, this is before it happened, so this is what started happening afterwards. We've got here Palestinians protest Trump move on Jerusalem, and maybe we can get some of these photos, some of these videos. They are burning Trump in effigy.
Oh, well, that's it.
Yeah, that's telling me everything I need to know about the religion of peace right there.
I was kind of on the Palestine side for a while, but it's over now.
That's right. When you burn pictures of my president,
that's right.
It just makes me feel a little bit defensive. I don't know.
Total game changer.
But and this is Hamas recently looked like it was starting to stand down. They made some bold promises.
Hamas, which was founded by the Israeli government, we should add.
Well, and of course, I mean, they were then commandeered, and now it's turned into this basically militant militia. Is basically what it is. It's ISIS with a specific
kind of how
area
the U.S.
here.
kind of funded Al Qaeda forever.
Well, and ISIS for that matter.
Yeah.
President Trump just stopped funding ISIS earlier this year.
Yeah.
Wasn't that a smart thing to do?
Yeah.
You gotta wonder with these people. But now, if you want to talk about not even in the region, because you're right, the region, that specific tiny area is a mess.
It's been a mess for thousands of years.
But and even just recently, Jordan at one point had part of Jerusalem, all these different people have been at play, the Saudis, the Syrians, the Iranians, it goes on and on and on. But this is somebody who isn't right there, Craig. And this is what they have to say. Turkey says U.S. pulled the pin on a bomb with the Jerusalem decision.
Wow, that guy that runs Turkey is totally insane. Yeah,
Erdogan, the guy who declared himself dictator after the phony the phony coup. A lot of people say it was
on TV.
Exactly. A lot of people say it was all faked. Nobody died. They were just firing bombs and making people scared.
A couple tanks driving around doing absolutely nothing.
Good for the cameras. Good for the news cameras. And then the Erdogan's military seized the local CNN building, got on there and said it is all fine. Blah blah blah. And then Erdogan's, it gives him the perfect opportunity to out everybody from his party.
Which he did, and I think he had tons of people murdered and everything else.
Journalists in prison, imprisoned without due process. I mean, this is literally...
So this guy just said he's going to pull the pin, basically.
Exactly. This is the most hypocritical thing ever, but I would like to point out that this is a person who, he is the only European country, first world European country, Turkey, which, they have Constantinople still. But he is the only one in Europe. This should be peaceful Islam. Islam should be peaceful here, and he says that Trump just pulled the pin on a bomb of Islam that's about to explode in our faces. I find it hard to believe the propaganda when they keep making statements that are just so against it.
Yeah, that's just going to get people fired up.
Exactly, exactly. So we've got to take another moment off. When we come back, I want to talk a little bit about a fiefdom. That's right, a medieval fiefdom that appears to be forming right here in the United States of America. You're watching The Honest Media. We'll be back in just a few minutes. Welcome back to The Honest Media. I am, of course, your host. If you haven't quite figured that out yet, Tom Pappert, joined by my co-host here, Craig Chrysler. Now, we've got something interesting in this country, and of course, it stems from this sexual harassment kerfuffle that just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. This is, of course, Conyers, John Conyers II, the second of his name, who is stepping down. He announced his immediate retirement Tuesday, but he did something else that a lot of people didn't expect and a lot of people criticized. He named his son John Conyers III as his successor. I mean, he endorsed him. He didn't name him, he endorsed him, which in a very liberal district, I'm sure that's not going to cause anything. But, so we know about John Conyers. We know that he had a mental breakdown when the sexual harassment, sexual abuse allegations came to surface around him. We know that he checked into a facility to receive treatment immediately afterwards. What we didn't know until today, it's just coming out now, is his heir apparent, John Conyers II, who of course has been appointed to take his place. He's got a bit of a shady history. Craig, I think even you, of all people, would agree that this is not normal behavior.
Yeah, this is a little over the top here.
Even for you.
A little over the top.
Even for you. So this is a report. Now, again, this is a report, not confirmed, from Gateway Pundit. And it just says, report, Conyers' son body slammed his girlfriend, then sliced her with a knife.
That could, well, I'm not going to go there, but yeah, that could have.
Grab her by the sound. Doesn't sound as bad, does it? He sliced her with a knife. That's
getting there. That's the type of guy that you appoint to be in office.
This is medieval.
Yes, it is.
This is like the king appointing his sociopathic son to take his place.
It's pretty much a Game of Thrones episode right
Yes, yes, this is Vikings. This is something out of Vikings. And by the way, now this is, I just want to give a little bit of a quote that we have, because by the way, Conyers III is a rap artist.
Oh.
He has a mixtape. I'm sure it is fire.
Yeah,
I would like to listen to it. Dope. Because it boasts hot tracks such as "My blanks turn grams into grands."
Oh, nice.
And
so he's pimping on the side.
This is possibly the most profound lyric I have heard in modern music. A blank making a living, bro. I'm trying to blank make history.
Well, there it goes.
That is just that is
be
so
in Congress.
profound. But it goes on. It goes on. I believe this is a deleted tweet from June 9th of 2010. Mr. Conyers III wrote, "My dad is a blanking player and reckless as hell. He just got this dude's wife super low key."
Oh, nice.
The son is congratulating his father for sleeping with a married woman.
Yeah, well,
can we have that tweet on screen? Because that is just comical.
This sounds like a great Democratic candidate.
I think so. I think it is but now this is the meat of the article, and this actually comes to us via originally NBC News. John Conyers III, 27, was arrested on February 15th at a Los Angeles residence on suspicion of violence against his girlfriend after the alleged victim called the police. I mean, we've gone from trying to elect a woman who protected a serial sexual offender to president to arresting a literal thug who has a mixtape, is a rapper, and has gone to jail for slicing his girlfriend.
And body slamming. Maybe they were just watching wrestling and he got carried away.
It's just,
but I can't explain the slashing part.
Well, they were watching, what is it, Freddy. You can watch more than one
Check
thing,
this out,
Craig.
honey.
They had picture within picture.
Yeah.
The dad is obviously doing quite well
Yeah.
because he got this dude's wife super low-key.
Just a couple players out there, Tom.
This is the Democratic Party
It
in
is.
2017.
It is.
People like to say that the Republicans are doing bad, that the Republicans are imploding.
Well,
but
after
at least,
Obama, anything goes.
that's right.
Yes.
At least we're not trying to elect anybody who has stabbed his girlfriend.
Yeah.
I don't know. Not that I know of. I have not endorsed any Republicans who have stabbed their girlfriends.
Yes.
And I will make that promise right here and now. I will never endorse a Republican if they have been actually arrested and there are criminal court case paperwork suggesting that they may have stabbed their girlfriend.
And body slamming.
And bodies. Can you imagine the instance where, like, okay, you get in a fight. I am pro equality. I say that if a woman hits, you hit back. But I don't see a scenario where you body slam and then cut a woman. I don't see at all.
Yeah, that's a little over the line there.
A little over the top. So now, of course, Conyers, we're only talking about this because he's been caught getting in the honeypot, so to speak. So now we've got a report from Breitbart that kind of explains, I wanted to bring this up before we close the segment, because it's still topical, and we were onto this. We talked about this 2 or 3 weeks ago. The real reason why the Democrats are allowing so many of theirs to be taken down. They've lost Matt Lauer. They've lost some power players here. They've lost Hollywood icons. They've lost Louis C.K.
Oh, God.
They've lost Conyers. They've lost Franken. Then there's more coming. I have no doubt. And now this is telling us why. A Democratic senator who called for Franken to resign said, "I would love it if Trump and Moore stepped aside." And see, we've been saying this because the Democrats are creating an environment where an accusation equals proof. All you have to, and especially if you have more than one accuser, that's proof.
This has been in the works for years. They've been building all this up. Boy, a guy gets fired because he allegedly kissed a girl.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and I would like to point out that there is a difference between Donald Trump, Roy Moore, and, say, John Conyers.
Oh, yeah, a lot.
John Conyers' son was bragging about his father's infidelities on Twitter.
Low-key. Ruthless, yes.
Low-key. I don't know how low-key it is when your son just narcs on you to the entire internet.
It's no longer low-key.
It's not even like he was hiding. They have the same name. But so the Democrats do this in the open. Al Franken was doing this in USO tours. He was doing it while he was surrounded by the U.S. freaking military. That's dangerous. That's dangerous. Meanwhile, Trump and Moore, both of all of the accusers for the two men, come from this well-known attorney. I've been told I should not refer to her as a pinko commie. Gloria Allred.
Yes.
Gloria Allred is the one who sponsors all these victims. And then, the moment the election ends, whether it's a victory or a defeat, President Trump won. What was the guy? Herman Cain lost. Doesn't matter. The second the electoral loss or victory is over, the victims, the allegers, the accusers, they disappear.
Yeah, just disappear like it never happened.
So they want to make it so an accusation is tantamount to a crime just so they can use it against Republicans because they've got the shtick figured out. They already know what lawyer they're going to use. They're just going to get old Gloria. She's not doing anything. She's just wearing a red dress. That's all she's doing. Praying to Mao. That's all she's doing. She is available anytime, day or night, to take any Republicans down. She's got the women on speed dial, and she is perfectly willing and able to coach them as they cry through their statement. When we come back, we're going to keep kind of going through on this Democratic corruption angle. President Obama is still out there being shadow president, and a lot of people are wondering if he's not breaking the Logan Act. So we'll be right back. You're watching The Honest Media. We'll be back in just a couple minutes. Welcome back to The Honest Media. Reporting that President Putin, our official boss, is announcing his re-election bid for 2018, ending his speculation. Craig, I am personally thrilled that our employer will be continuing to send the checks.
I'm very glad.
I am completely dependent on my Russian benefactors at this point. I actually, every word that comes out of my mouth, I have an invisible earpiece sent to me directly from the Kremlin.
I'd like to thank Putin for my new car and suits.
Yes, President Putin, President Boss, this is a great tie. You've given us a wonderful new studio. We have a great new facility here, wonderful paint on our set, microphones, my Trump cup, all brought to us by our true employer, President Vladimir Putin.
It's total of you.
No, really though, President Putin is announcing his 2018 re-election bid, which a lot of people were wondering if he would do that. He is, of course, set to win by a landslide. He is one of the most popular leaders that has ever existed.
This is true.
Not just in Russia, as it turns out. I mean, he has routinely had like 80% approval ratings. By the way, even, and I'm going to butcher the name. I'm going to butcher my boss's second in charge's name, but Medvedev, he did not have as high of ratings as Putin, which a lot of people point at to say that people really do just like Putin.
They do. They love him.
This isn't faked. It's not like in the United States. You know, people accuse Putin of having fake approval polls, right? Well, in the United States, we have fake approval polls.
Yes,
they consistently tell us that Trump is only at like 19% approval, but then when you actually break it down, just like you and I did during the election, you find out that, 80% of the respondents are predisposed against Trump. You know, it's like, this is a phone thing where the questions asked are so confusing, people can't tell if they're supposed to say yes or no. But so, and yeah.
Why would you not like the guy? I mean, that's a glorious leader.
Glorious leader, wonderful boss, great guy, gives me a yearly bonus. This will be, I've been at this since 2015, so I'm looking forward to 3 years working for Putin. And frankly,
the vodka's on its way.
Yours hasn't arrived yet.
No.
Mine's in the fridge, man.
Oh, man.
We'll head to my place after this. Yeah, he taught me that if you freeze the vodka in the freezer, you can tell if it's good vodka or the Soviet stuff.
Oh, really? Nice.
Yeah, my nightly phone calls with Vladimir.
He's been skipping me by.
Bad. I'll put you on speak. Oh, what's that? What's that, Vladimir? That wasn't an accident, actually. I'm sorry, Craig. He thinks you're a little too American.
Dang it.
I don't know what to say.
I'll try harder.
He was registered as a Democrat.
Oh, God.
Oh, man.
That's false.
What?
It never was.
17 accusing Craig of rape.
Yeah. Let's not get rumors started here. We see where they go.
I don't think this is a rumor. I just heard it from Putin. So he's 65 years old, looking forward to another term as president. We will follow this story because there's some confusion on how he can do this and stay within Russia's constitution. They only allow for 2 consecutive administrations. Then you have to break it up and you can get back in. This is, of course, what Putin did previously with Medvedev. He was president 2 terms, then former prime minister became president, former president became prime minister for one cycle, then Putin went back into office. And so there's some wondering, but you know, the guy's president. I mean, constitutions can be lawfully amended. I would not mind President Trump becoming God Emperor Trump of the United States for life. That's fine.
That's fine with me.
Whatever.
Better than anybody we've had since I've been alive.
I was going to say, you get a good one in there, you might as well keep him.
That's right.
Why make it harder for ourselves?
Yeah.
But since we're talking about world leaders, there's another certain world leader who just keeps showing up in the news. And it's somebody who, you know, I try to give him respect, the respect that a former president deserves. But I think I'm done with that. Obama compares Trump to Hitler, implies America like 1930s Germany. This comes to us from Breitbart, and the part of this that Paul Joseph Watson, who's a brilliant writer, but the part that he kind of left out is Obama has been making remarks like these across the globe. He went to France and said something almost identical to this. This specific remark was made at the Economic Club of Chicago, which is just a hilarious name.
Yeah.
Economic Club of Chicago. They definitely need an economic club in Chicago. But so I don't know if he means that Trump has already killed the 6 million. I don't know what he means by this exactly, but I would like to point out that President Obama, I did it again, Obama, BHO, he has been following Trump. You know, Trump goes to Asia, well then Obama goes to Asia. Trump goes to France, well then Obama goes to France. Trump goes anywhere, within a week, 2 weeks, Obama's right behind him. Not only is Obama right behind him, he is saying things that no president should say. I mean, I didn't get the article, but what was it he said last week, Craig? He said that America has a temporary lapse in leadership. And he said that like to President Xi Jinping of China.
This guy just needs to stay home or go back to Hawaii or whatever he does.
Well, you know, there is a Hawaii in Kenya. I've heard it's nice this time.
Yes.
Obama's brother, Malik Obama, the good Obama.
Yeah, he's not a fan of.
He's the one who got me hip to that. If you follow this guy on Twitter, you know, I know our guys could pull it up, but I'd be making it too difficult. He posted on Twitter the other day a map of Kenya that had a marker on there's a town called Hawaii in Kenya. So he posted a picture of that, then Malik Obama goes, oh, now it makes sense. But a lot of people are wondering about these foreign visits that the former president is making. And so, do you remember Mike Flynn, General Flynn? He's been in the news again here recently. Fake news, mind you, but he's been in the news. Well, a lot of people said that he might have violated something called the Logan Act, which means that, Craig Chrysler, you are not allowed in your official capacity as a host of a TV show to do foreign policy on behalf of the United States. Isn't that shocking?
Well, nor would I be qualified, so.
So that is basically the Logan Act. Private citizens cannot enact diplomacy on behalf of the United States government. Very simple. I guess they had to get an act with a guy named Logan to make that codified. But it makes sense.
He was in offense of the Logan Act the whole time he was president because he was serving as head of one of the UN councils.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good point. But but so
never got in trouble for it though.
People, I mean, high-profile people have wondered about this. Matt Drudge, he tweeted and then deleted the tweet, which a lot of people are wondering what the significance of that was. But just on December 3rd, Drudge tweeted, "Is Citizen Obama violating the Logan Act when he lobbies foreign governments and world leaders against America's foreign policy?" So if
Clinton
Drudge
did that for years.
Well, but here's the deal. I mean, you did not see this with Bush. When Obama became president, Bush went to Texas and painted dogs.
Yeah.
That's what he did.
Literally.
He went to Texas
some nice
and he painted
paintings.
Creepy dog photos. That's what the former president
the
did.
paintings were pretty nice.
They were creepy.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. We'll get one of those up in the next segment. Those were creepy. But that's what a president's supposed to do. You retire from public life. Not Obama. Not Obama. He bought himself a house down the street from 1600 Pennsylvania, and now he's going across the world trash talking his next guy.
More than likely, Soros is paying him to go undermine everything Trump's doing.
I have no doubt. And we've got some more Obama news coming up. We're going along in this segment, but I'm going to do it. I don't care, Craig, because this is too good of a story to miss.
Good.
We've got, we've been talking about world leaders this segment. We got to go fast. Something new is happening with one of our recurring friends, President Rodrigo Duterte of the Philippines. communists have been classified as terrorists, which they are. Economic, physical, they're horrible people. Communists, did I just call them people? My mistake. My mistake.
This is one of the greatest bills ever passed.
Let's be clear. Communists are not people. Communists are terrorists. And with that said, we've got to take another break. When we come back, we've got some more information. Like I said, there's an Obama shadow group that is actually making waves right now in a Senate race that we've all heard about until we're sick of. We'll be right back after this break. You're watching The Honest Media. Welcome back to The Honest Media. Okay, I had the guys get it. Can we pull it up? Production guys? But this is the photo. See, Craig, it's creepy. It's not normal. It's not good. It's creepy.
Yeah, it's better than what Obama's doing right now.
Well, yes.
Just sit at home and paint dogs.
Much better than what Obama's doing.
I wish I had time to sit at home and paint dog pictures.
But that is creepy. Those dogs are creepy. They look sad. They look like they've killed millions of Iraqis. I see his crimes in their eyes.
Yeah.
That is a sad.
Poor old Bush.
Poor. Anyway,
I think he was just Cheney's puppet the whole time.
A lot of people. In fact, Bush Sr. said that he felt like Dick Cheney had too much influence.
He was running the show.
By the way, I would just like to point out, since we were talking about Putin in the last segment, our glorious leader, our boss, the man who signs my checks, Putin was friends with Bush.
Yeah, they were 43. Best friends.
And it was actually Bush 41's idea. Bush 41 called up 43. This is real. You can look this up. And he said, hey, I've got an idea. Why don't you invite President Putin out and we'll go take him on the boat. Literally. So you got like 89-year-old Bush 41 is driving the boat. Do you say sailing? Sailing the boat.
I ain't getting on the boat with that guy.
91. Yeah. And Putin and Bush 43 were fishing, and it was apparently a good time. They took photos.
Walking in vineyards, holding hands, wearing Masonic aprons. They were best friends.
Just what world leaders
do. And everybody was totally fine with
Everybody thought it was the coolest thing. I mean, okay, the world was like this country was already. We hated Bush at that point, which, whatever. Yeah. But the people who didn't totally hate Bush thought that was really cool.
Yeah, everybody was totally fine with us being friends with Putin at that point.
And Russia in general.
Yeah.
Because we realized at the time that Russia was not this boogeyman that it's turned into.
Yes.
We realized that
Stalin is no longer alive or
Stalin
in control.
died just a little while ago.
Yes.
Just a little while ago. So, so in the last segment, we had to bring that up, and especially that creepy picture. One more time, let's get that creepy picture on screen. That is creepy. That's not normal. That's not normal.
That was actually Roy Moore, sorry.
You're having fun with us back there. Now, the next thing I want to talk about, we talked about it before, and it's actually Mr. Production Man. I don't know, he made a Roy Moore joke. I don't know if you could hear it out there in TV land. Next one we're going to talk about, shell group used by Obama campaigners spends $2.9 million to defeat Roy Moore in Alabama.
Democrats just love throwing money away.
That's right.
They do.
They really do. Yeah. But now this is significant because of what we've been talking about. That is the shell group used by Obama.
So Soros's Obama's shell group.
You know that there is some not so kosher infiltration happening here. So let's just read a little bit. Highway 31, the Shell Independent Expenditure Organization used by Washington, D.C.-based consulting firms run by Obama campaigners in Alabama, U.S. Senate race. When an article starts like that, when you have to explain the swamp like that, that's like saying the swamp creature that feeds on this swamp creature that is actually protected by this third swamp creature. That's all you need to know. And now this is basically one of these dark money groups that liberals allegedly hate. It's a Citizens United creation, and it is shoveling money against Roy Moore. And you know, we can talk about this. We talked about it a couple weeks ago. I don't particularly care about Roy Moore, but they have made me care about Roy Moore.
Some shadowy globalist group.
That's right. And when these people are spending $3 million in Alabama, I mean, you know, this is real. Craig, I was watching the Moore rally on TV, and I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, even on this show, I've said Alabama maybe 10 times now. Every time I say it, I feel like I need to go Google Roy Moore, Alabama. Because I never thought, as a news person, I would be saying the word Alabama as much as I have this past month.
Well, Democrats are just losing so much that this is the only thing they have.
They will shovel money into a lost cause if it looks like.
So if we know about 3 million, there's probably 9 million more we don't know about.
I have no doubt. Yeah. I mean, there could be who knows how much money. And I mean, Alabama is not. I don't even know what the population is. Let's see if we can pull that up here, because we're not talking about a big state here. We're talking about 4.8 million people in a country of 350 million citizens, plus God knows how many illegals. I mean, that's not a lot of people, and the whole country is hyper-focused on this poor state right now because the Democrats are shoveling money at it. But even though I hate that I don't hate Alabama. It's probably a wonderful place. I've never been there. Never had a reason. But it's probably wonderful.
Yes.
But I hate that I have to talk about it all the time. But I will defend a man, even though I don't perfectly agree with Roy Moore's politics, I will defend a man who has got $3 million in dark money from the leftists attacking him, no matter what.
You know he's good if the globalists are going after him.
Exactly. If he's got $3 million in dark money. And I mean, let's be real. I think that Roy Moore should be, and it seems like he does, but he should be worshiping at the altar of President Trump. Well, because Roy Moore never...
We all should be, Tom.
Frankly, that is very true. But Roy Moore could have never...
And Putin.
Ever... and our boss. And Vladimir. Vlad. I call him Vlad.
Yeah.
Hold on for me. I don't call him Vlad.
Oh, Pooty Poot.
I'm not allowed to call him
Pooty Poot.
I can call him Pooty
Yes.
Poot. I'm not allowed. Vlad's too personal. I just got it on the intercom. But I mean, $3 million. That's so insane. Can you imagine how lucky those TV stations are? I want to be a TV station in Alabama right now.
Yeah.
They are making more money than they've ever made in their lives. But Roy Moore, he is Roy Moore, as an example, Craig, he wants to repeal Roe versus Wade, or overturn Roe versus Wade. He is the only Republican I have heard say that has a snowball's chance in hell of being elected. I mean, that is just a lost cause.
Yeah.
He thinks that bakers should not be forced to bake a cake for a gay wedding. I didn't know Republicans could say that in the current year.
Imagine that.
He's talked about transgender bathrooms. Again, I didn't know Republicans could say that in the current year. It's totally insane that this guy is, I mean, and all the polls, let's just be honest, folks, they look like he's going to win. So while I have not been thrilled to do this kind of reporting and talk about Roy Moore, I am just thrilled that he has stood up to the deep state machine. I'm thrilled that a man like this, who really, really has some... I mean, I am a social liberal. I think that if people want to smoke pot and do whatever they want, who cares? Not my problem. But the fact that Roy Moore can get elected, I think, is a good omen for this country. We'll see what happens on Tuesday, but I think it's some good indications. When we come back, we've got some new information about the attack on Senator Rand Paul. It looks like, no, it was not over lawn clippings. Then we've got some information coming out of China about potential nuclear devastation. That's right, you heard that right. We've got all kinds of Islamic terrorism, Islamic fundamentalism we've got to get into. Basically, we've got a whole lot of information to get to you and a little less than 8 minutes to get it to you. We'll be right back after the break. You're watching The Honest Media. Welcome back to The Honest Media. I want to get started on this segment, our last segment. Thank you for joining us today by telling you what's going on around the world with Islamic extremism, which we gave you a bit of an idea earlier when we talked about the Muslim world's hostile, violent, explosive reaction to President Trump's decision to name Jerusalem the capital of Israel. But we've got some other stuff going on that isn't even related to President Trump, believe it or not. I know the liberals will try to tell you now that any angry Muslim is because of the Jerusalem decision. But the truth is, Muslims are just Not the radical ones, the ISIS ones. They don't need Trump to make them crazy. ISIS vows to make New Year's Day hell. Attack people on foot at Christmas markets in Europe to dodge security barriers in latest sick propaganda posters. That comes at us from the Daily Mail. Real quick, I want to turn over to the National. They've got a great summary of these concrete blocks. And I think we can get a couple pictures up, production folks. Craig, you've seen these, right? I mean, these are like, imagine going, we've got a mall here. We've got a mall, two malls called Town East and Town West. Imagine going to Town West and this is what you got outside the JCPenney to keep some guy from stealing a truck and running people down.
Well, they did have to put them outside City Hall because a guy ran right through the building a few years
City
ago.
Hall. Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, this is becoming so common, these truck attacks.
Yeah, we're about a year away from the big one that happened in Germany last year.
The Christmas or was it even Germany? There's been
Germany,
so many.
yeah.
You're right, it was Germany. I mean, but they've been everywhere. It is so many that we could easily lose track of terrorist attacks. London Bridge twice. London Bridge is falling down twice.
Yeah, last year
Theresa May was rushed out of the Capitol in one of these attacks.
Last year around Christmas they did a whole bunch, so get ready.
Exactly.
So now they're just going to be all on foot stabbing.
Exactly.
Like.
Or doing God knows what. I mean, we know what these people like to do.
They are very explosive.
That's true. That's true. But that's just and Europe's solution. I mean,
bring more in.
Well, not only that. Pull up that security barrier photo again, if you could, over there.
How is Merkel still in office? What the heck is going on?
This is the solution. Do we do like Trump says, and we need to stop these people from coming into our country until we figure out what the hell is going on?
Or maybe even keep a track of them.
Right, just keep track. No,
yeah.
That's racist.
It is.
That's racist. Instead, the thing to do is to put up these ugly, atrocious barriers, and that's going to keep you safe. That's going to they have blades, they have guns, they have explosives, they have acid, they have rape, they have all these other weapons besides trucks.
Just going to make Europe a giant prison. Like Fortress Europe, perhaps.
Fortress. I see what you did there. But I was going to go there, too. I was going to say they're making it into an open-air concentration camp.
It pretty much
where these refugees, these migrants, they're the guards.
That's what it looks like is happening.
They're the guards. And there was a guy, I should have pulled up this article. I know I could get it, but I don't want to force our guys through this. There was a guy who put up, is this what you want Europe to look like? Is Europe really safe? He put up posters on these concrete blocks. And these concrete blocks look like something out of 1984.
Europe used to be just a beautiful place, beautiful architecture. Now there's people crapping in the streets
the architecture's
everywhere.
Still there if you can clean off the sludge of fecal matter.
Yes.
You know, it's still there. It's not blown up yet. Hopefully we can, I mean, I
always wanted to go there. Now I have no desire
there's
to
Hungary,
deal with it.
There's Poland, you know. You can make the two-country European world tour.
Yeah.
But, and now, I mean, we can even, we can go domestic here. This is all pre-Jerusalem. This has nothing to do with Jerusalem. This is how these radical extremists, these violent people, this is how they act. And this is how our justice system responds. America, killer gets 3 years for murder. Vandal gets 15 years for placing bacon in mosque. So now, we were talking about Palestinians, Israelis earlier. They both can't eat bacon.
That's the one thing they got in common.
No pork. No pork, no bacon. However, if I eat bacon in front of a Jewish person, they might say, "Oh, that's really bad for you. It's not a clean
Silly
animal.
Goyim.
You shouldn't do that." If I eat bacon in front of a Muslim, it's going to offend them. They will report me to the police, and then I will apparently go get 15 years.
Well, wherever this is at, Merkel must have appointed the judge and everything else, because that's just ridiculous.
Yeah, this is almost European. But
so if I went and bought a pound of bacon and just dropped it off at the mosque, I could do years in prison.
15 of them.
Yes.
Right here in the good old USA. Now this is so here are the details real quick. University of Akron student who killed his roommate after a drunken argument over fast food. Those are my McNuggets. He got 3 years.
Happens all the time.
He'll be eligible for parole in 6 months. 3 years for murdering his college roommate. Now, meanwhile, 37-year-old Michael Wolf was sentenced to 15 years in prison after breaking into a Florida mosque and leaving 3 pounds of bacon.
We need
Bacon.
to start a free Michael Wolff campaign.
I'm sorry, folks. This may offend you. You may need to find a safe space, but bacon, in the short term, can't hurt you.
Yes.
In the long term,
not in
I
your
won't.
general vicinity.
No.
It causes no harm.
In fact, until you eat it, it's harmless.
Yes.
Until you eat that delicious, delicious, greasy food, completely
That
harmless.
is just ridiculous.
But you know, we're talking about America. Let's keep going here. We've got a student suspended for debating Islamic extremism with a Muslim peer. Here's the catcher in debate club.
Yeah.
In a club where you go to have these discussions.
You cannot question the religion of peace.
That's right.
Tom.
It is peaceful, and if you dare draw that little guy they worship, then oh dear God,
We still have never hosted our Muhammad drawing contest.
We need to do that.
Yes.
But we need to have good security. You know what almost happened
We'll
to
just
Pamela
surround
Geller.
the building with bacon. We will be fine.
Oh dear God.
It's like garlic to a vampire. They can't enter.
You got me with that one. Bacon surrounding our studios. It's flawless. Why don't we do this?
I do it at
more?
home. Works.
This happened in Missouri, by the way. That was the long and the short of it. Missouri, our next door neighbor, very based red pill state.
You see these colleges; they're all ran by these globalists. I don't even know who these people are. Just
sick people. We're running out of time, folks. I really wish we weren't, because we've got a lot more to talk about today. Craig, if we have nuclear Armageddon before next week, I'll really regret not getting to this story.
Yeah.
So be careful.
If we all get nuked, we'll be dead and won't know it anyway.
Exactly.
So.
Well, if I'm a ghoul like Fallout style, I will forever regret not telling you that the Chinese state media is warning its people about nuclear Armageddon. But they do that all the time.
Yeah.
So what I do want to do is leave you on a good note, as if our bacon theory isn't great. This comes out from Reuters. U.S. jobless claims decline for the third straight week. This means that the people applying for welfare, unemployment, less for 3 weeks in a row. More people in the workforce, more people not sucking up the welfare system. Great news, economy's back on track. America well on the way to being great again. Bacon soon to be provided as a tax incentive for every man, woman, and child in America.
Free bacon, MAGA time.
God bless us all. And have a Merry Christmas. Next week we'll have some Christmas set up here in our set. We're a little behind everybody else, but we're getting there. We'll have Christmas next week. So have a Merry Christmas. Remember to say Merry Christmas and not Happy Holidays. And we'll see you again next week. Same time, same place.